This is the GoPro HD Hero 2 that I've just got. When I was looking for different cameras, comparing the Contour and the GoPro and the Drift, I couldn't find many realistic views of what the GoPro HD Hero 2 is, just out of the box on the different camera settings. So I thought I would sort of do one once I got it. So I've got 1080p 30 frames per second, 720p 60 frames per second, and WVGA at 120 frames per second, and I'm just comparing them and showing you what they are. I've done no colour enhancement at all on any of these images. All I've done is taken the audio off because it's an action camera and the audio isn't brilliant on GoPros, as you'll have probably worked out from looking at other videos on YouTube. They're not designed for it, so there's no point in having it on. So I've just left it as the visuals. Now this is 1080p at 30 frames per second with very good contrast, very good sharpness and picture quality, and it's really smooth. And realistic colours as well, it's actually what you see. GoPro does no enhancement, this is what it actually looks like, which is quite surprising for most cameras. Now this is 720p at 60 frames per second, so it's twice as many frames per second, so it's smoother. So jerkiness is seen a bit more as you're walking or moving or whatever, but it's still very good picture quality. There's good contrast, good range of colours. You can see the greens on the moss there and on the building, the stones, and the brown on the sheds just coming up, and then there's the red on the coat. Really good colours on it. It picks up exactly what it sees. Really wide field of view. It's really surprised about that, and it's actually fantastic because I've got an LCD backpack for it, so if I wanted I could use it as a viewfinder, but you really don't need it. You just point the camera where you want and let it go, and then you're going to capture what you get 99% of the time. But as you can see, it's very good picture quality. It's 60 frames per second, so you can realistically slow this down to 50% speed and still get fantastic picture quality. This is best for just general purpose use because you can get everything you need on it. Right, and this is WVGA at 120 frames per second. It's not as, you can immediately see the sharpness has gone. It's more like a sort of a cheaper end camera here, but the difference between this and a cheaper end camera is this is 120 frames per second, meaning you can slow it down to 12.5% video speed and still get very clear flowing images. I mean, the contrast is still there, very good contrast between the reds and the blacks of the coat and trousers and the greens of the moss and the brown of the walls. Really good contrast. The colours are still there, it's just the sharpness has gone. Now in a second, if you just look on the horizon, sorry, it should come up in a minute, you'll see it's not a smooth line, it's more pixelated. You can see it's jagged on the edge of the horizon, and that's purely because it's lower quality video. But it doesn't matter because you wouldn't use this for everyday filming, you just use it for when you want to get the slow motion images. But still, it's got the wide field of view. Don't think it's as wide as the other two I've just shown you, but it's still wide enough to capture what you want. And they always keep everything in focus. You never need to worry about losing focus with these. But the audio isn't good, and like you can see there in the face, the detail's lost and it merges together in the heather there as well. So it's not as detailed, but it's really good for slow motion. Right, and here is 1080p at 50% speed. This is just to show you what you can realistically do with it. So that's 50% speed. I mean, it's smooth enough, but it's not incredibly smooth. This is at 25% speed, and you can see immediately at this speed, you can, if you look closely, if you wanted to be picky, you can see the individual frames. It's quite a jerky speed to see 30 frames per second at, but you still get the picture quality. And this is 12.5%. There's really no use using this with the 1080p, sorry. You see, it's not good enough. You're better off using the 720p and slowing it down, or the WVGA and slowing it down if you want to get to 12.5% speed. You're better off staying at 25, preferably 50% speed for this. You never really need to go below that. unless you're wanting to do specific shots. Right here we're moving on to the 720p at 50% speed. Easily does it smooth. This is 25% speed, not brilliant, but still manageable. And this is 12.5% speed, and that's incredibly like you can see the dog, it just looks like a load of pictures. Now this is fantastic. This is 50% speed at the WVGA. That's 25% speed, incredibly smooth, and the colour's still there. And then 12.5% speed, still incredibly smooth. There's no jerkiness at all. So this is what you want to use for slow motion shots. And then you see the dog jump down there. Look how smooth that is. It's absolutely fantastic.